Hello guys and welcome to the FPL Duo, and we are here obviously for the deadline stream for Gameweek 7. I say we, obviously Huss is unable to join us for the stream, but I'll be here for you guys in just under the last hour or so to just go through my team and what my plans are for it and what my final obviously moments are in terms of what I plan to do. But before we get into this video, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe for more, and leave a comment if you wish. And obviously, yeah, we'll see Huss back in the knee-jerk reaction on the Sunday, usual time, around when the last fixture on Sunday ends, is when we'll probably stream our knee-jerk reaction. So you'll be able to see his team then, guys. But as far as I know, it will depend on whether Luis Diaz starts or not for Huss. Will depend on what his plans are, but I think he was going to plan and bring Palmer in for Luis Diaz if he wasn't featuring in the early fixture. So we'll have to wait for some team news on that, and obviously we'll have to see what Huss decides to do. But without further ado, let's break down what's going to happen, obviously, for my team. So I'll run through the starting 11 quickly and the bench order. So in goal, I got Hermanson. Back three of fives, Robertson and Gabriel. Midfield five of Palmer, Rogers, Semenyo, Salah and Matoma. And up front, we got Haaland and Chris Wood. And in terms of the bench, we got non-playing goalkeeper Voldy Marson. And we got Keane, Everton defender, Robinson, the Fulham defender, and the non-playing forward for Man United, Wheatley. So and the captain obviously is on Haaland again this week. And like I said, I'm sticking to my guns and hoping that Haaland doesn't blank again and he can actually get a return this week for his captaincy, and hopefully the rest of the team around him does similar to what they did last week, especially Palmer, who is the vice captain pick. So that is the starting 11 and bench order gone through so far. Now there is a bit of variations I can do in terms of fives, because I've got Hermanson already in goal, who's got Bournemouth. I was tempted to play Keane over fives instead, just so I know there's no clean sheet potentially for those fixtures, but it just gives me just spreads out more the fixtures in terms of maybe I could nick one against maybe Newcastle, because Everton do play at home. And I know Newcastle played really well against Man City, but I still don't trust their away form being that consistent as their home one is. So that's a possibility. I can change my starting 11 and swap Keane for fives, or keep fives and go double defense covered against Bournemouth. But I'm not sure, because I do have Semenyo in there as well, so it kind of makes sense to play Keane and not clash with fives, because I expect Semenyo to do well. So I might just do that. I'll play Keane over fives and keep fives on the first team bench. That way, if I don't get a clean sheet against Leicester, then maybe I can get one against Newcastle. But that's the only changes, obviously. There is going to be transfer moves I'm going to make in this last hour. I'm debating on two players for this particular spot in the midfield, but I'll carry that on in a moment. So who we got in the chat? So we've got Ali Mac. Good morning, Ali. I am waiting on the Diaz news. Yeah, I think a lot of people are waiting on Liverpool news, and hopefully we get some early leaks and early lineups on that fixture against Crystal Palace, because I think it's going to be of great importance, especially for those who have, let's say, Jota, Diaz, and those type of players in the midfield, to see who plays and who doesn't. Kyle in the chat says, just replaced Robinson with Gabriel. Yeah, that's a good move. Obviously, Robinson has Man City. So it's the toughest fixture all game. It's 7. And Gabriel, on the other hand, has the easiest fixture, which is Southampton at home. So yeah, that's a good move, I think, in that part. Mr. T Tendai Morning is keeping Welbeck and Eze a waste this week. Not really inspired by any other players. I mean, I'm not really been keen on Brighton. They sort of had a massive drop off from the beginning of the season where they looked pretty good, and now they're a bit flagging behind a bit. But I do see what you mean. I mean, Eze, on the other hand, has been very unlucky. He could have had a really good season if he managed to get his chances put behind the net. I think he's been very, very unlucky. Probably the most unluckiest asset to own, I think, in terms of that midfield, because he could have had so much more returns than what he's had so far. I mean, he does play Liverpool. It's the early fixture, so anything can happen in that. But yeah, I'd preferably want to unload Brighton, or at least a Brighton asset like Welbeck. I would be tempted to go Chris Wood. I mean, it's not a complete different change in terms of fixture difficulty because Chris Wood does have Chelsea, but I just prefer him, I think, over Welbeck. And with Chris Wood as well, he's on penalties and Welbeck isn't because João Pedro takes the penalties normally. So you've got a bit more upside going for Chris Wood if you're looking to change Welbeck, or even maybe Rutter. Well, actually, no, that's Brighton again. Not too keen on Brighton. But a Chris Wood, a Vardy, there's Calvert-Lewin if you prefer going that way. But yeah, there's not many options. I think Chris Wood is the best in terms of that price bracket around Welbeck. And in terms of Eze, there's 2 players I could probably recommend for Eze. It's Brennan Johnson, who I like for Spurs. He's had 5 returns in all competitions now, which is good. Dwight McNeil, he's another one for Everton. Their fixtures on difficulty rating are really good, surprisingly, despite Everton's form not being that obviously supported by that. But yeah, in terms of Eze, Dwight McNeil or Brendan Johnson this week, I think. If you're looking to obviously keep Welbeck and Eze up. Comment for Carl says, who should I start? One of either Aina, Mazraoui, or Konza? I'll probably start Aina. In terms of those 3 teams, I've been more impressed by Nottingham Forest's defence. They've had a really solid defence so far against many teams, and yeah, maybe, who knows, Aina could probably nick a clean sheet or maybe get some bonus points if he does perform really well in that position. Going to be tough against Chelsea, obviously, but Man United against Aston Villa, that's definitely not the way I'm going because Konza and Mazraoui will clash between each other. So Aina, yeah, I'll probably start Aina. And out of those 3, yeah. And he says, I really fear not having Saka. If I did, would have been tempted to captain. Yeah, Saka is my players to fear this week because I don't have him. I swapped him out for Palmer. And yeah, he has Southampton at home. I actually expect big things from Saka, and I think this is why people bought him in, obviously, in the wild card too, for this fixture. I know the Leicester one was a bit upside down in terms of Saka not getting anything, but he had really good chances in that game. And well, this is the fixture. This is the reason why obviously Saka owners bought him in for this Southampton one. I'll be very surprised if Saka doesn't get a double haul in this game. Very surprised. The best fixture you could possibly have. And it could be one where you go captain different apart from Haaland if you're willing to risk it. Because I don't see another fixture where I would probably captain Saka otherwise. Harry says, Haaland captain final boss. Havertz captain for me. Yeah, I mean, if you've got also assets like Havertz or Saka, they could be good captain picks for this week. I just don't know with Haaland. You never know what's going to come from next. I know he just had a blank, but what if he scores a hat-trick against Fulham? and then then it becomes a bit of a we should have captain Arden this week. But no, I'll be surprised if Haaland gets a captain a hat trick this week. But yeah, Arsenal assets should technically do much better than Man City in terms of the fixtures they both have. And yeah, you might just roll this week. Yeah, that's fair enough. Just see what Welbeck and Eze do this week. If they don't do anything, then potentially transfer them out next week. If obviously you're rolling a transfer over, so you could possibly get 2 transfers for both of them. Or you could do Eze back to Jota if he starts. Yeah, check the early team news. Keep up to date if you are tempted to go for a Liverpool asset. Morning, Jenny. Hi. Thoughts on benching Smith Rowe or Jimenez? It'd probably have to be Smith Rowe. I would want us to play Raul Jimenez. He seems to be playing more secure minutes now in terms of being up front over Meniz. I think the manager prefers Raul Jimenez. He's had more success, more returns. I think, well, in terms of returns, I don't think Meniz had a goal this season. Let's go double check that. Yeah, he's only had 1 assist this season, and he only played 7 minutes against Nottingham Forest, game week 6. So yeah, I would prefer Raul Jimenez. I mean, it's a tough decision, but they have Man City regardless. So I see 1 goal coming from Fulham because Man City seem to let in 1 goal against teams. So hopefully Raul Jimenez is the player to do that if you are benching Smith Rowe. But I'd probably play Jimenez and bench Smith Rowe. Diego Jota to Palmer or Salah to Palmer? An interesting one because we have raised this issue or this question a lot about Salah, whether he's worth keeping in your team or not. Because if you're not going to captain him, is it worth having that much money in your team if you're not going to use the captaincy over Salah? I would probably do. See, the more priority, I think honestly Palmer is the more priority, obviously, for this transfer. But I think I would prefer to keep Salah in the team, in my view. Take Jota out, especially if the other team shows that Jota isn't starting. Should do though. I think I would prefer. It's a difficult one, because you could save a lot of money if you take Salah out for Palmer. Yeah, I'm not sure with that one. No, I'll do Jota to Palmer. I can't take Salah out. It's hard to do. Even if you're not captaining him, he's still worthwhile in terms of points. I think without the captaincy. Carl says, who should I captain? Saka, Salah, Palmer, Watkins, or Solanke? I'm assuming you have no Haaland, because that's not up there on the selection. But it would probably have to be Saka. He has arguably the best fixture this game weekend, the best chance to get a double haul. And against Leicester, he was very unlucky to not get that double haul. So I think Arsenal are more than capable of putting 3 goals at least behind Southampton. Bournemouth managed to score 3 against them. Arsenal technically should score more, as they are, I say, a more improved team in terms of that. So yeah, I think captain Saka is the go-to. I think this game week could go to Palmer, but Nottingham Forest is going to be a tough one. Defensively, that's not easy for Chelsea. I don't see him scoring like 4 that Palmer did against Brighton, because Brighton's defence isn't as good as Nottingham Forest's, and Nottingham Forest have kicked off the season really well defensively. So yeah, I wouldn't go for Palmer this week. Watkins has Man United. I'm not sure what to expect from that fixture either. Solanke has Brighton. Again, Solanke could be a good one. Either Saka or Solanke. I don't think I'll go Salah because I don't back the early fixture, because they can be very screwed results. So for me, it's Saka or Solanke. Jenny says Captain Salah or Saka. Interesting. I'll probably captain Saka. Yeah, Saka over Salah. I just expect Saka to score more points than Salah will this week because it is Southampton and Liverpool have Crystal Palace. So yeah, captain Saka for me. And Ali says rumours of a Foden start interesting. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't started more fixtures in the Premier League than because obviously De Bruyne are not starting, not match ready or fit. I would have assumed Foden would take a spot in the midfield. He did play 24 minutes though against Newcastle in that draw, but it will be interesting to see if he starts. I don't know if I would be tempted though if he was to start games now when even though the fixtures are really nice for Man City, it's 9.2 million. His price is very high, but again, he is a decent player when he does get the minutes for Man City. I just think for now, Haaland is the only asset in terms of attack I'll probably go for that set. But it will be interesting to see how Foden does get on if he does start in that fixture. Maybe that does help Haaland out as well, because a lot of players in that team don't really feed the ball to him, like De Bruyne or Foden does. So, yeah, that'd be good news. Salah to Palmer, keep Diego Jota. Yeah, you could do that actually. It gives you some Liverpool cover still after taking out Salah. So, yeah, if we find out the early team is that Jota starts, then all the more reason to keep him in your team, I think. Then at least you can get some points from him. And hopefully he does score early on in the game because he does come off around the 60, 70 minute mark. So, but at least you still got Liverpool's obviously cover there after taking Salah out for Palmer. Ali says, what's your thoughts on James Justin 4.5 in really good fixtures? It's Leicester though. I mean, I wouldn't go against it completely. I've got Leicester goalkeeper for the reasons of the fixtures because they have really nice fixtures lining up in the next four. Got Bournemouth, Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Ipswich. And despite the results of Leicester, because they haven't won a game yet, they're due to win a game eventually. I imagine they will win some of these games in the next 4 game weeks. But James Justin, I'll say he's not a bad shout. For a defender at 4.5 million, he scored 2 goals, which was interesting against Arsenal of all fixtures. I mean, if he could do it against Arsenal, he's a full 90-minute player as well. I wouldn't say it's a bad shout. I mean, I've gone for Fies. Maybe I've gone wrong and should have gone for Justin. Because that would have been nice top at the end of obviously game week. But yeah, I think Justin's a good shout. If he is showing attacking threat like he did against Arsenal, then I don't see why not. We should bring him into our teams. But yeah, I suppose now, guys, I should show you what my transfer plans are for this game week because I am in split decision. You might need to sort of aid me on this decisive moment in terms of transfers because this could be the make or break differential for me. But let's switch over to the transfer page. Obviously, it's nice that they've updated it because you can see now the transfers, the budget, and obviously the rest of the information now, which is nice. But yeah, the issue is obviously Matoma. I don't want to start Matoma this game week. I do want to take Matoma out. He's got Tottenham. Not a fan of Brighton assets anymore. So I'm split between 2 players for this position. The first player is Brennan Johnson for Spurs, which leaves me with 0.1 million in the bank. Or I could go to a cheaper player who's also on good form as well in the Premier League. And that's Dwight McNeil. And that's save me a little bit more money as well. 1 million in the bank. He's got a tougher fixture though against Newcastle at home, but after that, his fixtures are really good long term. Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton. It's a nice run of fixtures where Dwight McNeil could potentially get me some points. I mean, United he scored 2 goals against Crystal Palace, which was their first win of the season. Maybe there's a turn of Everton now. Maybe we've seen Everton now winning matches as well as scoring goals. And I don't know, I'm siding towards Dwight McNeil over Johnson. If we take a look at Johnson's Premier League record so far, it's a bit screwed, obviously, the minutes, but he did get a goal and an assist against Man United. I don't know, I'm split. I'm very split. Their goal involvements for both of them are really good as well. If I could, I would have both of them in my team for this, from this moment onwards. I can only pick one though. Who would you guys go for? Dwight McNeil or Brennan Johnson in that position? Because I'm stuck between which one to go for. Harry Davies is not confident with Dibbling this week. Is it worth a -4 to get him out for McNeil? Dibbling. Yeah. Southampton. Yeah, I would do it. I think it's a very big upgrade. I don't think I would have any Southampton players in my team. And especially when he's got Arsenal. But if you can, Harry, I probably would want to bench Dibbling. Rather than take a -4, maybe try and get away with benching him this week and taking him out for free next week, if that's possible. But if you really have to take a -4 for McNeil, then I think it is worth it long term. I think McNeil gets something out of these 4 game weeks somewhere. But I would suggest looking at Brennan Johnson also. You're in the same predicament as me a little bit in terms of who to bring in. But if you can stretch to Johnson, I think that's even more better an option for you over McNeil. And Jenny says, thank you. Have a great week. Yes, you too. Have a good week, Jenny. Thank you for your questions. And Max says, McNeil also on set pieces. However, Brantford and Mikalenko, I think, are injured. Yeah, that's why I like McNeil as well. He's on set pieces. So there's that extra opportunity for him to score from or to get an assist from those two. So yeah, I'm kind of split. Brendan Johnson shows really good attack on the right hand side. McNeil shows really good. Obviously, he's on set pieces, but you can also clip a goal here and there. I don't know. My mind is split between the two. It's very split. I think down the line, I think Semenyo, when his fixtures do turn, I think I'd want to bring in Brendan Johnson or McNeil in place as well for him. I don't know. I like both of them. I think both will do well this week. Well, I think Brendan Johnson will outpoint McNeil if you look at fixture differences. Webster says bench one. Rogers, Sankey, Madison, or Calvert-Lewin. It has to be Cal. It has to be DCL, I think, out of all those picks. Yeah, DCL. I would play everyone else apart for. Yeah, it has to be DCL. It's a hard choice, but he does have Newcastle at home, so yeah, I'd have to risk it and bench him instead. Actually, no, I wouldn't bench DCL. I would bench Madison because you got that Solanke cover there for Spurs anyway. So yeah, but I'll bench Madison and play DCL, Rogers, and Solanke. And Jenny says Brendan Johnson. Okay, that's one support for Brendan Johnson there. So who should I bring in, guys? Brendan Johnson or McNeil? One of the two. Let me know in the chat. Obviously, I have to go on the basis of my own decision. It won't be down to you guys, but a little bit of input from that question might tempt me otherwise. Only way I can bench is to start Van de Berg from Brentford, and Brentford haven't kept a clean sheet yet. They haven't kept a clean sheet yet, but they do have. What did Brentford have again? Sorry. Mine has gone. Mine has gone blank. Well, they play Wolves at home. There could be a clean sheet there, Harry. That could be their first clean sheet. I mean, you could. I would probably suggest doing that. You never know. What if Brentford do keep a clean sheet against Wolves? I think that's what I'll do in that position. I'll probably play Brentford defender over Dibbling. See what happens. If he doesn't get a clean sheet, then it's not a total loss, but it does save you that -4 because I don't know if it will make up for this week that -4 when you obviously bring McNeil in potentially because he does have Newcastle at home, and yeah, I'm kind of bringing him more for the long term, but yeah, it will be up to you what you do. But I do think I suggest you bench the Southampton defender and play the Brentford one. Harry says, I'm keeping Matoma this week. You never know what happens in Brighton Tottenham game. Could go either way. I expect it to be high scoring. Yeah, that's true. It could be high scoring one like we saw against Chelsea and Brighton. But something tells me it won't be in terms of involvement. Matoma, I don't know. I just don't know with Matoma. He's had 2 assists and 1 goal this season, and I mean it was going so well for them in the first 3 game weeks, and then after that it just went sideways. I don't know what happened with Brighton. It just suddenly turned for them after the Ipswich one draw against Nottingham Forest, a loss against Chelsea. Yeah, I just don't know. I won't feel as bad if Matoma does get something out of that game though. But yeah, it possibly will be high scoring. Just depends on whether Matoma gets much from that high scoring game week if it is. But yeah, I'm not keeping Matoma. I'm looking elsewhere. I think for me. And it says McNeil is 90 minutes plus gives you a minions play. Yeah, that's what I essentially thought in terms of McNeil. He does save me a lot more money. He gives me a lot more options to play with. With 1 million. I mean, I could afford another premium defender at that price. Or I can upgrade the forward. Or even upgrade the midfield if I wanted to. But yeah, that extra 1 million is very important. My team value is not that high. So that 1 million helps a long way. Jenny Bay says, thoughts on Trent to Canate or Virgil? I mean, House will make a big case for this, but Trent is the best defender at his price for Liverpool. He can give you the more goals, assists over Canate or Virgil will. Because Canate is good for clean sheets as well as Virgil. And maybe sometimes Virgil does get an attacking threat from a header on set piece, but Trent will give you the more attacking threat for where he's playing for Liverpool. So yeah, for me, I'll probably keep Trent if I did have him rather than downgrading to Canate and Virgil. And plus, he gets bonus points as well, Trent, if he does get an assist in the game or even a clean sheet. Good morning, Orange Apple. Had a nightmare last week bringing Savio. Would you look to move on already or firm for now? I'd have 6.9 minute if I sold. Savio, yeah, that's a very differential pick for Man City. Very interesting one. 6.5 minutes. He's had 3 assists so far this season. His minutes are a little bit scriffy, but he does have nice fixtures. I mean, as long as he gets the minutes, Maybe keep the faith with him. Maybe keep the faith for 6.5 million midfielder. Maybe he does well against Fulham if he gets the minutes, obviously. But yeah, I think as you've brought him in already, maybe give him another chance and see what he can do. Jenny Berry says Trent to a Man City defender. No, I don't. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go for a Man City defender, honestly. If we look at the clean sheets for Man City, they haven't kept one since Chelsea. In the first game week, they've conceded at least one goal every week. So unless you bring them in for attacking threat, even that. I know Guardiola scored a goal, but I don't even see him do that every game week. I'll keep the faith in Trent. I think Trent for Liverpool is still the best defenders to go for over Man City one. Robert Crook says Vardy, Marston, Henderson, Porro, Trent, Guardiola, Konza, Eze, Rogers, Bailey, Salah, Smith Rowe, Haaland, DCL, Menez. 9. I'm assuming that's ignored mine, yeah. 0.2 million in the bank, free transfers. I didn't mean, yeah, that's fine. I understood. Free transfers, yeah, I'd probably focus those. I'll transfer on Menez. I think he's lost his place in that forward line. He's got Smith Rowe anyway to cover Fulham. Kwanzaa, again, he's not really getting minutes. So I'll probably take him out if you could stretch. Well, you got Trent anyway. I'll probably switch Kwanzaa to a 4.5 million defender if you can downgrade Menez to a 4.5 million non-playing forward. Bailey is a doubt, I believe, for Aston Villa, but we won't see until obviously when that lineup comes out for Aston Villa on Sunday. So that's one to look out for. But I think Kwanzaa and Menez are the ones I'm really focused on in terms of your team that you could transfer out because Kwanzaa doesn't play 90-minute football and Menez has lost his place to Raul Jimenez. Harry Day says, rest of the team looks good on paper this week, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, especially with wildcarders, a lot of the teams will be set and locked rather than a lot of people making transfers. I know there was a lot of transfers for Saka out for Palmer, but that's probably the worst mistake you could make. Ferrari, welcome. How insane is captaining Havertz over Haaland and Saka as a differential? I don't think it's too drastic. Havertz he's improved a lot since he came to Arsenal. Before you would even see him score a goal. He was more playing deeper in the midfield. Now he's playing as the main forward up front for Arsenal, taking charge and being that dominant figure, hopefully, for them. And he's got Southampton. I mean, there's no better fixture really for Arsenal that's Havertz could potentially get a hold, or Saka, or any other Arsenal player in that team. I do expect Saka or Havertz to do really well. They should be expected to do well, especially with Bournemouth scoring 3 goals against Southampton. Arsenal technically should be scoring about 6, or double that, for the team they have. So it's not a bad shout, Captain Havertz over Haaland and Saka. Andy Max says, rumour Curtis Jones starts for Szoboszlai. Yeah, interesting rumour that is Curtis Jones starting on Szoboszlai in the midfield. I mean, Szoboszlai had a good chance to score last game week, but somehow the goalkeeper and he managed to not get it past the net while being 2 foot in front of the goalkeeper, which was quite annoying because that would have been a Robertson assist if it did mean Szoboszlai to score that. But yeah, interesting news. I mean, Liverpool are playing every 3 days now, So might see some more rotation for those individual players like Szoboszlai. And here we have a comment from Hizami. Says morning. And obviously, guys, don't forget to like and share the stream. Please subscribe. It helps the channel so much. So thank you, Hizami, for that comment. And thank you, Jenny. Obviously, keep a Trent. Yes, I'll say if you've got a Trent, keep him in your team. He's going to reward your points for game weeks. He might not get a clean sheet every week, but yeah, I like the attacking threat he provides for the price he's at. And hello, Elika. Decided to roll my transfer and Captain Harden. What are these rumors about Diaz not starting? Well, I've not heard rumors about Diaz not starting, but we should get early team news soon for Liverpool about whether he starts or not, because they are playing the early kickoff. So hopefully we do hear that before the deadline is over. His Zami says, I'm getting Brendan Johnson, limited budget, unable to get in Burmo, and I don't fancy Semenyo. Interesting. You don't fancy Semenyo? I know it was Southampton, but I think he looked pretty good on that right-hand side. But yeah, I think Brendan Johnson's an equally better choice at that price. And does have Brighton, which they do concede a lot of goals, can be a very busy fixture in terms of goals. So yeah, Brendan Johnson's a good shout. I'm siding towards McNeil or Brendan Johnson for me. I'm still undecided. Brendan Johnson has the better fixture this week, but McNeil has very good long-term ones. Animet says start Guardiola or Lewis. You'd have to start Guardiola. I think in that sense, there's no possible way. One moment, because of Guardiola's price. Yeah, Guardiola's price 5.9 million. He has a price drop, to be honest. It was 6 million. He did get a goal though against Newcastle, and he's got Fulham next. I would play Guardiola. Lewis did play a lot of minutes in the cup game as well, so I would expect Guardiola to be nailed in that position. Lewis, I'm not sure of. Edicus says impressed as to how you're able to have Palmer, Salah, and Haaland. To be honest, it was quite a stretch to get these players in the team. Because as you see, I got 5 million or 5.5 million midfielders, Semenyo, currently McNeil. I mean, I do have Matoma at 6.6 as well. But yeah, there's a lot of tight budget to get those 3 players in the team. It's not easy on the team value, but yeah, I'm quite happy to have them in my team. I wouldn't like to not have Palmer last week after his 25 pointers. So I'm glad of that. Hamza says Diaz to Palmer and Trent to a 4.5 million defender like VDV or Welbeck to Havertz and Diaz to McNeil. I'm keen on sending Diaz. Feel he's at a rotation risk now. I'd probably see what happens with the early team news first in terms of whether Diaz starts or not. But in the case he doesn't, then yeah, Diaz to Palmer is a good move. But I think if you're looking to get Palmer in anyway for a few game weeks, then maybe you could do it anyway, even if Diaz has to start against Crystal Palace. Trent to a 4.5 million player, though, this is very interesting because you're removing 2 Liverpool assets. I don't know if I should be unloading all my Liverpool assets, though. I should probably keep 1. But I understand you have to fund it. Obviously, the move to get Havertz. But I'll probably save the money. I'll keep Trent and maybe get Chris Wood instead for cheaper. Just have that Liverpool cover in defence, because they are still going to score goals and win games, and at top of the table at the moment. They're good contenders for this season to win it, I believe, as long as they don't have injury issues, because they are playing a lot of football. There's a lot of rotation. So I do agree with that. There is rotation risk in that Liverpool squad, and we are going to see that a lot now. But I'll keep the faith in having 1 in. Best 4.5 million defender and best cheap forward under 6 mil. Now, the best cheap forward under 6 mil. I would have liked to have said Chris Wood, but he's 6.1, so I can't suggest him. Under 4.5 mil. There isn't that many options under 4.5 mil in terms of forwards. Not 4.5, sorry, what am I saying? Under 6 mil. Let's have another quick look. I mean, there's Raul Jimenez has Man City though, but Calvert-Lewin, 6 million. Could be the bench line mark for that place. Evan Nielsen for Bournemouth, 5.9. Another potential option. But I'll say the best one for that price under 6 mil would be I'll say probably Calvert-Lewin at DCL. That's the best cheap forward under 6 mil. Just the way the fixtures work out for Everton as well. I'd say he's the best one to go for. Best 4.5 million defender. Probably say James Justin. Not because he scored the 2 goals, obviously, but it's the Leicester fixtures do swing nicely now, and maybe James Justin continues his attacking threat. I do see some clean sheets in there for Leicester as well. They're not such a bad team in terms of newly promoted. They haven't won a game yet, so they're due to win one soon. And they're due to get some clean sheets as well. So, yeah. I would suggest those two. And also, is going no Arsenal players this week too risky? Yes, I think it is a bit risky going without any Arsenal because you have to hope that they don't score or keep a clean sheet, which both of those possibilities will happen. Because if Arsenal don't keep a clean sheet against Southampton, I'd be very surprised. Not to obviously dampen Southampton's spirits because they've still got hope in fighting relegation, but it's Arsenal's defence. It's very hard to penetrate. It's probably arguably one of the best defences this season I've seen in terms of teams. So a clean sheet is definitely locked in high there. And for them to win it as well, they have to score goals to win, obviously. So there are going to be players to score in that. Obviously, we didn't see the common ones like Leicester game. We saw Trossard score, Martinelli, other players that we don't really own. But this week, Havertz, Saka, yeah, they're players to fear, I think, this week if you have no Arsenal. So, yeah, it's very risky with the fixture they have. His name says, where is Huss? Will be back for the knee-jerk stream? Yes, he will be back for the knee-jerk stream. He was just unable to join us for this deadline stream. So, yeah, he will be back, his Amy. Hi, Patrick. Did Smith throw to Johnson for Spurs cover? Can't get to Solanke next week without -4, but then I got big bench problems, so I think I'll go without him. Yeah, if you've got a benching issue, then I wouldn't suggest bringing Solanke because then you have to manage who else to bench other than him, and especially if it's a lot of money for a player you've brought in and you're benching him, it's not worth it, especially for -4. So yeah, Smith Rowe to Johnson's a good move. I think that Spurs cover is really good, and Brennan Johnson's on fire at the moment. So yeah, it's looking good. Brighton up ahead next for Brennan Johnson. I think that's a good fixture for him to possibly do some damage. His Amy says 4.5 million for him must be Van der Ven. I mean, yeah, I can argue this point because Spurs' defense, I want to say it's not good. It's very open, very vulnerable to attack. I wouldn't go for Van der Ven. Honestly, he had a good game week against Man United, but Man United haven't been the top of the game for a long time. They do have Brighton next. I don't see a clean sheet. The only thing I'd bring Van der Ven in for is obviously the attacking threat, which I guess is good for that 4.6 million now. But other than that, yeah, I'm not sure with Van der Ven. He's a good old 4.5 million defender to go for, obviously, though, at that price. He does show attacking threat as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, yeah, he could be the must-have one, but it's a wait and see. I think Pedro Porro is still more valuable. He's more expensive, obviously, but in terms of 4.5, yeah, it's a good shout. And we got some Liverpool news. Diaz out according to a source, and Diaz benched. So, yeah, that has maybe a surprise to some. But if that is true in terms of the source, Diaz is not going to start for Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Chavis says, I have Salah captain. I've been thinking of going Havertz. What do you think, guys? I'm 18k rank. So yeah, you're in a very good position in terms of rank. So your captaincy is very important for this week. Salah captain, it's very risky going for an early kickoff one, especially with Liverpool playing 3 days ago. Crystal Palace had a full week of rest. Could that influence the result? Or going Havertz, who's got the best fixture this game. Very split like that. Very split indeed. I think I'll go Havertz. It's just the better fixture, and you expect more from that game, more goals. And Arsenal should be up for it. So I'll probably go Havertz captain. I'm hoping it works out, whichever captain you do go to pick for Charis, because you're 18k rank. Since I got married, slowly forgot about us. Nah, he's always thinking about you guys. Even when he's not available to stream, he's in your thoughts always. Jenny Ray says, start Van der Ven, Porro or Anderson. I'd probably start. I mean, if you've got Porro already, I'll probably start him. Yeah, I'll probably start Porro out of those three. I wouldn't start Anderson against Fulham. Nah, Anderson as Man City, I would definitely be starting him. But yeah, Porro for me. Who would have thought Salah actually become a differential at end of an era? Yeah, who would have thought that? I mean, he's had a lot of transfers out, Salah. And yeah, that's a very big surprise because obviously Palmer is a bit more of a valuable option now at cheaper price. But I'm keeping Salah. I'm not taking him out of my team. I did that last season and it massively backfired on me. Is there a risk captaincy Palmer? It's not a risk. It's just I don't expect him to score 4 goals against Nottingham Forest because defensively Nottingham Forest have been really good this season, and it wouldn't surprise me because Palmer somehow still scores in that game, but I don't think it's going to be a massive margin between it, that fixture. So it's not a risk actually. It's a good different captain this week, but there is other options out there as well you could go for, which I think is good. Do I start Udogi or Aina? I'd start Aina. I just like Nottingham Forest's chances. Defensively, they're really. I say that their defense is better than Spurs' defense, and that's just going by what I've seen in the past few game weeks so far this season. Much better defense. And Travis says, yeah, I think Arsenal will score and Havertz gets plenty of chances. I think I'll go for it because I have Salah and Haaland, but I'm still scared. I mean, Salah's more of a differential now in terms of not many people are going to captain him. Not many people have him in the team anymore. There's a lot of people transferred him out. I mean, he's 40%. That seems like a lot still, but compared to what he was before this game week, he was his percentage of ownership was higher than that. Now, I don't feel a lot of people are going to go for the captaincy of Salah, because a lot of people who still have Saka or bought Saka in are still going to go for him as well. So Salah scoring and potentially Havertz blanking shouldn't be a bad scenario, but again, Haaland is the one to fear this week. I mean, if you've got Haaland in there too, I can understand why. And who would be the best striker for 5.8 million? 5.8 million striker. Oof. Best striker at 5.8 million. All right, I'll answer this question in a moment because Animat just reminded me, don't forget transfer. Yeah, I best do that transfer because there's literally like less than 10 minutes to do. I don't want to be too late on that. So, yeah, I'm still stuck between McNeil or Brendan Johnson. It's really gonna turn my stomach knowing that one of these players, if I go the wrong way with this transfer, I know it's gonna kick me in the teeth. Johnson's less minutes though. You know what? I'm going for McNeil. I'm going to chance it with McNeil. It just saves me more money as well. He's got Newcastle at home, so why not? I like the pit. My gut feeling is saying McNeil. So yeah, I'm gonna make the transfers, guys, quickly. So Matoma out for McNeil for 1 free transfer, and it's done. Yeah, that is correct. And the save team. Let me swap over to the other window. So yeah, there you go, guys. McNeil is in now the team, and it is now locked in the team. Yeah, that's all locked in. And it feels good bringing in a differential like that, because if McNeil gets something out of that game, I'll be very happy. Yeah, so just going back to Michael's question, who would be the best striker? 5.8 million. In terms of strikers at 5.8 million, let me just see the options available. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Okay, available options. So there's obviously Welbeck, who's the highest scoring forward so far. Not really keen on the Welbeck. I wouldn't say he's the best. As Raul Jimenez got Man City. Look good for Fulham though. Delap for Ipswich, Vardy for Leicester. There's not really that many options. The best one, it has to be between Welbeck or Raul Jimenez, if I'm honest. I'll just say Raul Jimenez. Yeah, at Raul Jimenez, best striker for 5.8 million. I mean, he is 5.6, so yeah, a little bit cheaper. Because if Diaz is benched, should I sell him or hope for any of Twan V5s or do? If Diaz is benched, interesting question because you got Leicester and Southampton players there. Yeah. I mean, he will play minutes. Well, hopefully he does. Actually, I'm not sure about whether Diaz will actually get some minutes in this game, but yeah, you could sell Diaz if he's benched. So around his price, I'll probably sell him for another midfielder. McNeil. Brennan Johnson is a good switch. If you're looking to go Diaz to Brennan Johnson or McNeil, one of those two, I think, will be a better option. And it saves you a lot of money too. Manib says, my attack is McNeil and Burmo, Saka, Vardy, Havertz, Haaland, Rodgers has an awful Man United at home. Who do I replace to get Rodgers and all attackers that have home fixtures are in form? So Rodgers has an awful Man United at home. Who do I replace to get Rodgers in? My attackers have home fixtures and are in form. Yeah, Vardy, I think. Then Vardy is up front there. It has to be a midfielder, Saka or anything else. Yeah, that's a tough one. There's 4 minutes left of the deadline. I wouldn't bring Rodgers in for this fixture. I know it sounds mad because the Man United haven't been that great, but in terms of those players you have in the attack, I wouldn't want to take out any of them this week. Even Bowen, who has Ipswich at home, I think is still a good fixture for him. Yeah, all your attackers have home fixtures as well and in good form. I would suggest, as much as it's hard and tough to go without Rodgers this week, who has Man United at home. And hopefully your other players do outscore Rodgers this week. Because there are some injury doubts for Aston Villa. Bailey, Ramsey, another player also. That might affect them in terms of the attack, but yeah, I mean, despite Man United being poor, they'll somehow make it a tougher game than it should be. But yeah, I'd have to go without Rodgers. Partey differential. Yeah, he is differential, but not really a player I'd suggest going for. Thomas Partey is more of a CDM, not really an FPL option in terms of attacking threat for goals, but maybe in the Southampton game he is more attacking threat because of the high line Arsenal will press. But no, I'll go for another player other than Partey. But yeah, it could be a nice differential for 1 week if you look at the target game against Southampton. There is 2 minutes left, guys, so make sure you make your transfers, locking your teams before the deadline is up. Ferrari, over the next 3 weeks, I plan to do Trent, Saka, Eze out for Van der Ven, Foden, and Palmer because I have Havertz for Arsenal attack. Interesting plan, obviously, especially for Foden. It will be interesting to see if he plays against Fulham as well and how many minutes he gets because he hasn't started a game yet for this season. So, surprisingly, I'm not sure why, but yeah, it's a good switch of players, especially Palmer as well. A lot of people are trying to get him in after that 25-pointer. Smith Rowe, Semenyo. It's got to be Semenyo for me over Smith Rowe. And anyone know news about Foden? There's no news that I know about Foden so far. Obviously, is Diaz bench? Should I transfer him out or play DCL? Just play Diaz anyway. Well, actually, no, in case he does come on. Transfer him out. I'll play DCL this week, Aurora. Just play DCL. Or you can transfer Diaz out for Brennan Johnson. Either way. Either pick transfer out Diaz for Brennan Johnson or play DCL because you don't have long. Well, I think the deadline is up. So I do apologise if I didn't squeeze that question in sooner. You did send that in 6 minutes ago. But hopefully you did make a decision on that. But that is the deadline, guys. Deadline is now up. Hopefully you've locked in your players for the teams and your team is set for Game Week 7. It should be a good game week for a lot of us. It should be. It shouldn't be a bad game week like we saw in the past. But yeah, this should be. I'm very excited for this game week, especially with the players I've got in my team. I think I've got almost one player from my starting 11 from a different team, apart from obviously Sal and Robertson, and obviously McNeil and Keane. There's one for each one. But yes, good luck, guys. Hopefully you get a green arrow and a lot of points this game week. Hopefully you got your plans in time as well. But yes, I think I will wrap it up very shortly. Obviously, before I wrap it up, make sure you guys leave a like for the video, subscribe for more, and hope you liked it. So yeah, leave a comment down below if you wish to as well. But yes, the Liverpool and Crystal Palace is the early kickoff for the start of this game week. So yeah, interesting to see with Diaz being potentially benched in that game, what happens in terms of the result, because Liverpool have played midweek. Crystal Palace have had a full week of rest. Let's see what impact it does make because of that. But I think we'll obviously wrap it up here, guys. Thank you for watching. It's always appreciated. We'll be back for the knee-jerk reaction on Sunday after the last fixture on Sunday evening. So tune in for that to see how well obviously both of us have done. And you'll obviously see Huss's team as well, and he will be back for that live stream. But yeah, take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and see you Sunday.